Hey friends, welcome to Whiskey and Whit. I'm Whitney, and in today's video, I'm really excited to share how we built this farmhouse rustic coffee table / toy box from Anna White plans. I've been wanting to build something from her plans for a long time, so let's see if it's as easy as she makes it look in her videos. If you aren't familiar with Anna White, she has a YouTube channel and a blog, and she has a ton of free project plans for things that you can build, from furniture to home decor and accents. And I've wanted to build something of hers for a long time. My brother recently built some of her planters for my dad for Christmas, and so I was inspired to start building things for our house. So since we've had Finn, we have acquired a ton of toys for him in our living room. And so we thought this would be a great project to add some style and have it match the decor, as well as adding some additional storage. Here's a full list of supplies for what you will need for this project. Don't worry, I will link it down below, as well as the original Anna White plans that we used to build this table. Our project panel happened to be 16 inches wide, so we had to rip it down to 15 1/4 per the plans. All the wood we purchased at Menards, but you could purchase it pretty much anywhere that you get your lumber. I'll also put links down below because you could get it at Home Depot, and you could also order online. So you just put everything in. I will have links, and then you can just go pick it up if you're not super familiar with the store and picking out lumber, just to make it a lot easier. Here are all the cuts that were needed for this project. Now, all of this again is included down below, and overall these were pretty easy cuts. I could definitely do it, but Alex hopped in to help me because we wanted to build together, because it was the first thing that we were making for Finn. We used our Ryobi miter saw, and we've had this for a long time, and this actually happened to be the project that I got retired on, so we purchased a brand new Ryobi. We have a good amount of Ryobi tools already, so we bought our new miter saw with the Ryobi brand. Then to cut the 1x8, because we don't have the stretch arm on the saw, Alex had to use the handsaw to do that, and the good news is our new saw has that capability, but he went through and measured that and just used another saw to get that cut. Like I mentioned, Alex did have to rip off 3/4 of an inch from the width just so it fit with the plans. If you have a project panel this size, you can adjust the measurements. We just wanted to follow the plans pretty closely. Alex used this attachment for the saw made by Craig Jig, and he really likes it, so I will link it down below if you ever have longer cuts that you need to make with a handheld saw like that. Once everything was cut, I went through with a sanding block and made sure that all of the edges were sanded down and ready to go. Once all the cuts were made, I grabbed my stain, and this is where you can customize it to what you're looking for. I used dark walnut because that matches my house, and then we got to staining. We just used some Dollar Tree brushes because that's what I had on hand. We also wiped it off with just some paper towels. So sometimes we'll do a project and we'll put it together, like assemble it all and then stain. But the reason we did this is because these pieces over here for the corner slats that we're doing are going to be white, just to give it a little bit of pop and match what we have. I could not stain and or paint or a mixture of the two without mixing the two. So stained all of this, and then we can assemble just because there's not a ton of drilling. It's more nails. And so I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't too hard to get the coloring that we want. This dark walnut on this particular wood looks so pretty. Then I also decided to seal before we assembled it, so I used water-based polyacrylic. I used matte so it wasn't too shiny, and I gave everything a nice thin coat. Don't cake it on too much, because if it gobs up too much, you will get a residue, and you don't want that. Then I took the 1x3 and 1x2 pieces that were cut for the corners and glued them together with some Gorilla wood glue. I just got that at Walmart. Used some clamps to clamp it together just to have it stick really quick before I went with the brad nailer and put 3 or 4 nails down the side. I also made sure to wipe off any glue that had seeped out, just so then you would get a clean finish when it was painted. For the bottom of the box, we had to attach 1x8s with pocket holes, and so I was really excited because this was the first time that we got to break out our Craig jig that my brother and sister-in-law got me for Christmas, and honestly, this worked really well. There's a $100 one, and I was not ready to make that decision or make that leap. I ended up asking for this more affordable one. Basically, you hook it to your wood, and as you can see here, there's a special bit that comes with it that you put onto your drill, and it drills these pocket holes, which then give you seamless joint connections without having to see your screws. So to hook it together, I just added some wood glue to the side of the other 1x8 piece that was cut down. Then we stuck them together, added some clamps, and then Alex used the second bit that came in the Craig jig set to screw in screws. And these particular screws actually came with the Craig jig, so we didn't have to buy them separately. So they will come with your set if you get that as well. And that really pretty finish was so worth it. I've been waiting to make a project with pocket hole screws for a long time. It is like 7:15 and Finn's now in bed, so I'm gonna keep working on this. I really do think that if you've got the time dedicated, you can make this in a day. I am just now gonna paint the edges of the table, so I decided to do them the white, and then the rest is gonna be that stain that you saw earlier. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint these 4 legs just as accent pieces for the coffee table. Once everything dried overnight, it was time for assembly, so I grabbed 2 of my corner pieces that were also sealed with that polyacrylic, and I added some wood glue to my longer 33-inch pieces. Now the key here as you're hooking them to the sides is that the side that you're putting down is actually your good side, because you are nailing this on to the back. So what we're seeing right now is what's going to be inside of the box. So you just want to look for knots and the way that the wood stained. If you've got any weird stain that didn't stain fully or stained uneven, that's what you want to put on the inside of the box. Luckily, we didn't have a lot of that happening, but we just wanted to look and make sure. That's another perk of staining and painting before assembly, so you can kind of pick what is hidden and what isn't. So we did the same thing on either side to assemble the box. We did 3 nails on either side and some wood glue. Then we took our bottom piece, which was what we assembled with the pocket holes, and Alex just took some self-tapping screws and screwed around the outside of the box. So then the bottom was a little bit more stable than just with the brad nails. These are 2-inch screws. So then once the bottom was ready to go, our last step was to add the top. So you take your 1x2 piece, and it's going to hang over a little bit because your lid's going to hang over as well. That's how you're easily able to open it. So we put the top on just to lay it there to make sure that we got it centered, and then went through with some wood glue and some 1 1/4 inch brad nails that we've been using the whole time to hook it down. Then we used 1 pack of these black hinges. You could use whatever finish that you want, but I wanted that to kind of tie into the modern farmhouse vibe of my house. Used the screws that it came with to screw the hinge in, and then finished off the project by adding some felt pads to the corners, so when it's shut, it would rest on that. We also want to add some hardware for the safety of Finn, so then that way when it shuts, it's a soft close. We've got those coming from Amazon, so we'll add those when they get here. But that's another piece with little kids that you don't have to worry about it slamming on them, and we want to make sure that that safety is included for Finn. And here is the finished product in our living room. It is 36 inches by 16 3/4 inches, and it is 17 inches tall. One other thing that we did do for safety for Finn and also for the look is Alex went through and hand sanded the edges of the top. He did the edges as well as the corners, so then that way there weren't any sharp edges for Finn or just for klutzy adults like myself. Then we just went through, added some of his toys, and I'm just using little baskets from Target and Home Goods to organize things, and those soft closure hinges will be coming from Amazon shortly. I absolutely love this. I think that yes, 100% it was as easy as advertised. and I am definitely now on the DIY build train. I have wanted to do stuff like this for a while, but I haven't made the jump, and now that we've got that new miter saw, got a Craig jig, I just feel like I'm ready to go. So let me know down in the comments, should we do more of these videos on the channel? I would absolutely love to do that. And I know what you all are thinking. What does Finn think of the table? So here it is. He is loving playing on it. It's a perfect height for him, and it's a new play surface. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. Finn, can you say thanks so much for watching? We'll see you in the next one. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Good job. You've got some crazy bedhead.